Alrighty. Okay, so starting off with balancing on the left leg, drive the heel up towards the inner thigh of that balancing leg and then drive that foot around. So you're just doing this like big over-exaggerated bicycle wheel. Go through 10 of those. So from the side, you're just like this, trying to keep everything else unaffected by that move. So you could make a bigger circle if you leaned back. We're trying to isolate all of that movement to the hip, knee, and ankle joints. 10, and then switch sides. So you're driving the knee up, sending the heel forward. See if you can keep the same pace, same speed at the top half, same speed at the bottom half. So this is just a good like hip isolation, and then do the same thing in reverse. So now you're gonna drive the heel up to the glute, bring the knee forward, send the leg out. So it's in reverse.
How was I just doing it?
Oh, there you go.
I thought I was doing it like this, so I think we'd be here now.
Yeah, drive your knee up, send your heel down, kick your leg forward. Like I have to do it the right way and then reverse it, yeah. 10 of those.
Were you just checking to see if I was paying attention?
No, I think I was just doing it the same way. I was just describing it in a different pattern. Drive the foot forward, knee up, heel down. I don't ever test you. 10 of those guys.
Well, I pretend like everything's a test, so I'm always passing.
All right, when you're done with those, we're gonna keep going back to those. But for now, split stance for the legs. So that just means like a big kind of lunge-ish position. Arms streamline above the head, and you're just focusing on isolating the back, round the back over, and then with the arms continuing in that streamline position, eyes up, chin up. Go through 6 of these. So it should feel like a big hamstring stretch, that front leg. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side.
How many are we doing?
6.
That makes sense.
And then same thing, just switch legs. Streamline position, so biceps to the ears, arch the back. There's Judy.
Hey. Ah.
Nice job. Ugh. 6 of these. Soft knees. So if it helps out a little bit of movement, go for it. Movement in the knees, that is. Very long. All right. When you're done with those, back to hip circles. So start balancing on the left, pull the knee up, and then send the leg out and around. So it's like if you were doing like a breaststroke. 10 of these. See if you can keep the toes pointed forward. So a lot of times you have a tendency to want to like open up the hip, have the toes go out. Try to keep everything on that frontal plane. So there's no rotation in that spot where the femur comes into the hip. So you're driving the knee up, sending the leg out wide and around. Go through 10-ish of these. So if you were to like dig your thumb into that hip abductor, you should feel exactly what's firing. And to make it go away and get soft, you just put weight on it and then it can get softer. You know, to know the difference. And then you're doing those in reverse. So the reverse will be send the leg out, drive the knee up, stomp the foot down. Send the leg out, knee tuck, stomp down. 10-ish of those circles. That balancing leg can also be getting tired as well. Send the leg out, tuck the knee, stomp the leg, and then you're trying to make that just one big continuous circle. Nice job. 10 of those. Then you're going back to that big split stance. So one leg way out in front of the other, one leg back, arms streamline over the head, and you're just leaning one way and leaning the other. And that should feel like a good stretch through the ribs, through the obliques.
Yeah, stretch all that climbing out.
6 each way here. Should feel like as you do a few, you can get a little further into that movement. And then it looks exactly the same on the other side. You should feel a deeper stretch on the side that is the same as where the leg is back behind you. So if my left leg is behind me, getting a little bit more of a stretch for that left side. Six of those each way. And then we'll go through one more kind of rotational hip circle. So again, starting balancing on the left foot, turn the right foot out. So now you have the toe pointed almost directly to your east. So drive the heel up, keeping that toe pointed out, and then with that toe out, continue that circle. So if you can put one finger on each, or put one hand on each of the iliac crests of your pelvis, it can kind of help you determine, am I turning and facing that leg? You want the hips to be forward. You want to isolate that openness of the hip to what's happening when the femur comes up into the pelvis. So the pelvis isn't twisting. 10 of those. You should feel that in your balancing leg.
Oh yeah.
Same thing on the other side whenever you're ready. It's a knee tuck, leg extension, swing the heels back around to be near each other. All right, 10 of those. And then we'll end up doing those in reverse. So reverse direction will be sending the leg out first, tucking the knee second, stomping down third. I have to find like a spot on the ground to, what are you looking at? It helps to just have like
visualize
one.
it in my head, actually.
That's good. 10 of those, and then same thing on the other side. It's a send that leg out, tuck the knee, stomp the leg down. 10 of those big circles. Ooh, you should feel that in the hips. All right, when you're done there, big split stance, just like we have in the past last time for these. Arms are straight out in front this time. Twist left, twist right. So you're just going 6 each way, holding that big split stance. Try to get around as far as you can on each side so that you get the most out of that full range of motion. 6 each way, and then switch. Are you waiting to see what it is?
Yeah.
Nice job, 6 each way, and then moving on. We'll do new stuff. All right, so balancing on the left foot, take the right leg forward, bring that leg all the way back around, and then bring it forward. So I'm holding a bend in this left knee, and I'm just sweeping that right leg around and back, but I'm keeping the toe on the ground. So there should be enough bend in that standing leg that it starts to fatigue a little bit. Go through 10 of those each way. So it's 1, 2, so you're moving that leg 20 times. From there, straighten out the leg and just try to hold onto that knee. You're doing 10 just little single leg squats, whatever you've got. However much movement you've got for that balancing knee. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. You'll go right foot down, left leg goes out in front. You're trying to put as much bend in that balancing leg as possible. Swing that leg around and back. See if you can sink down a little further and make it burn more on that quad. And then pull that knee up to the chest, hold on to it. 10 single leg squats. Oh, maybe? Woo. As soon as I look out the window, I look down. All right, when you're done there, balancing on the left leg, take that right leg just straight back and back to neutral. So as basic as it gets. We're just trying to isolate that posterior chain before we make it do some work. So just so that we stay on the same page, because we're going to switch around a little bit, make sure it's the right leg that's the one that's doing all the work right now. Left leg's just balancing. And then balance on that right leg. So don't switch sides. And now we're going to do 10 touchdowns. So it's still that same hamstring we're asking to work. We're going to do 4 things on this right side before we switch. So bear with me. 10 of those just really basic single leg touchdowns, which we do probably every single mobility class. All right, then go back to balancing on the left leg. Take the right leg straight back behind you and imagine you're just doing this donkey kick. So bend the knee, extend, bend the knee, extend. 10 of those. And then we're gonna do one more thing for this right leg. So now balance on the right leg. There's a lot going on here, I know. So rather than just taking the fingertips down, I'm also gonna take my back leg down. So I'm going into this like sprinter lunge, and then I'm coming up to balance. Makes sense? 10 of those. So I'm touching down, but I'm also bringing that back leg down. You can take the back knee to the ground if it feels better, or you can just go toes and the ball of the foot. But this is predominantly a quad dominant movement. So what we're trying to do is do all these things leading up to it to fatigue the hamstring so that that's where you're feeling that effort. Weight in that front heel as much as you can. So this is the 4th thing we've done for the right posterior chain. And then we'll do the same thing for that left side. Nice job. All right, so when you switch sides, you're going to start balancing on the right foot and we're going to send a straight left leg back. So starting with the easiest, simplest move. 10. And then balance on that left leg. Single leg touch down for 10. Once you're done with those 10 single leg touchdowns, you're back to balancing on the right foot so that you can do these like donkey kicks with the left leg. So from the side, you're here, bent knee, like you're trying to put your footprint up against the wall back behind you. It should feel like that's isolated between the glute and the hamstring. If you were to like dig your thumb into that glute max, you can feel exactly what's firing. 10. And then that last thing you're doing is balancing on the left leg, reaching the fingertips down to the ground, but also sending that back leg back. Nice job. All right, we're gonna, and you get to lay down, shake out the legs. Give the legs a little break. Okay, so we're gonna be on the mat for the most of the rest of this. So start off laying down and we'll go from full range of motion to little range of motion, and then we'll do a plank. And then we'll go from little range of motion to big range of motion, and we'll do a plank, and we'll kind of keep doing that. So your biggest range of motion is everything's flat, fingertips are reaching the other side of the room, and you're sitting up and just going fingertips to toes. This is like old school PDE. Can they do that? Like, how many minutes can you do where you have to like touch your toes? So these should feel more or less easy because you have so much momentum coming from the swing of the arms. That's fine for now. 10. All right, and then we're gonna go fingertips up towards the ceiling. And now I'm just trying to sit up until I hit the shins or the lower part of the kneecap and back down. 10. So I'm not coming all the way up. I'm certainly not leaning forward over the legs. And those should feel a little harder because now you don't have that break when you're reaching for the toes, and you don't have the momentum from the swinging arms. And third variation, last variation for what we're doing is going to be fingertips reaching towards the toes. And now you're just sitting up until the fingertips barely hit like lower quad or the top of the kneecaps and come back down. So it's this like half sit up, and you should feel the hardness.
Oh yeah.
And I was just thinking that. I just need to remember to breathe. All right, so that's what we're gonna keep going back to. All right, when you're done there, like I said, we go from big movement to small movement and then plank. So our plank is arms straight, hip circles. So you're gonna start with the hips up high, and you're gonna draw a really big circle down, up, and around. Go through, you have a lot of these guys. 10 one direction, 10 the other. And the idea is not to be fast, but to be really full in your range of motion.
10 in each direction?
10 each direction. You got 20 of these suckers.
I asked for it.
Before this, I asked Jason what he wanted to do, and he said something really cheesy like, let's take it to Abtown. So you're welcome. Same thing the other direction, 10. Each way?
Yes.
All right, when you're done there, go down to the forearms. And you're gonna point the toes until you're on top of the feet. And then flex the feet, send the heels back. Go through 5 of those slow. Nice job. Last one, only 5 of those. All right, and then go back into child's pose, fingertips reaching forward. Keeping the forehead down on the ground, make these big like reverse snow angels. Normally you'd be laying on your back. So now you're just bringing the arms around the feet, arms around, up and over the head. Go through 3 of those. Nice job. All right, when you're done there, you're back to laying down. Okay, for abs, this time, we'll go through them from small to big. In some ways, it's easier. So fingertips pointing towards the fingertips, sorry, towards the kneecaps. Oh, yeah. Not enough oxygen to the brain. Fingertips go to the kneecaps. I was working out with a friend earlier today, and she told me, "You make really bad analogies."
What?
My husband
Has
would
anyone ever said that to you?
fully
That
agree.
sounds so mean. What a terrible thing to say to somebody.
All right, your second variation are going to be with your fingertips straight up. So you get like half of a swing, and you're just going like, just down to the bottom of the kneecaps. 10. Those should be a lot easier than the last one.
You call that person a friend, huh? That's it, kind of terrible thing about it.
Then we were talking about people that use terms in the wrong way. I was like, well, that's different than being bad at analogies. Guy I was working out was just saying that he has a friend that says touche for like everything. He's like, it's not, you're not using that properly. 10 of these, where you're going all the way over the head with your reach, all the way to the toes at the top of that sit-up.
Hurts so good.
Oh, he also said, he said that the same friend always says like, well, you know, when in Rome, he's like, this doesn't apply. What do you call somebody like that? Somebody that's just bad at knowing when to use certain words. Touche only has like very few times where you can actually use it. That's not like a daily thing you could say. I don't find myself in a daily situation where somebody came back out, retaliated, came back at me with something.
What's up, homie?
All right, when you're done there, back to your straight arm planks. You just finished 30 sit-ups maybe. Arms straight. So this is gonna look a little different. You're gonna slouch the hips down. So you just have this like dropped hip. And you're gonna do a really big circle until the hips get down low, and then you're gonna reverse it. So that was 1, all the way around, pause at the bottom. So 10 total circles. It'll end up being 5 clockwise, 5 counter. All right, and then your second variation is going to be with the hips piped up. So now the top of that circle is your transition point. So you're going to do a big circle, pause at the top, reverse the circle, pause at the top. So again, 10 total here, 5 clockwise, 5 counter. Almost done. We're like 2 more minutes. What? Yeah. All right, when you're done there, go down onto the forearms. Drop the left hip down to the ground, and you can actually put the weight onto the mat, and then do the same thing on the other side. 5 on each side. Look at Lily.
You're a silly dog.
Oh my gosh. All right, when you're done there, go to child's pose. And do those same big snow angels, 3 of them. All right, when you're done there, just straighten out the rest of the body. So come up onto the knees. So step forward with the right leg and bring the left hand up and over the head, drive the hips forward, and then bring that knee back down. So you're alternating. If the left leg goes forward, just like how you would run. If the left leg goes forward, the right arm does as well. Do 5 of those on each side. Drive the hips forward so you get this big stretch through the hips. We're gonna do 1 of these forward, 1 of these out to the side, and then you're done. 557, totally fine. That should feel good. Do opposite arm, opposite leg.
Okay.
Yeah, feel better. Or any different? All right, when you're done with those 5, now you're gonna alternate, but that leg is gonna go out to the side and the toe is pointed out to the side. So if it's my right leg that steps out, it's my left arm that comes up and over the head and does this big side reach. Make sense? Left foot goes out, right arm comes way up and over the head, bend the knees, stretch. 5 of those on each side, and then you're good. You should feel really good. It's just a big hip opener, big stretch to the lat, the oblique. Five on each side. Last one-ish. All right, that's it. 5:59. You get out a minute early for good behavior.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good to see you, Marty. I'm glad you're back, Judy.